today's topic. you know, this topic actually is very special to me. It's very dear, special to me because it's one of those topics that I get to really describe some of what I really feel like are very important for a lot of us to learn in this time and age, especially, you know, because emotions, right? Emotions. What? Okay, let's say this is emotion, right? And let's say this are feelings. And people are like, they're the same thing, otherwise just putting words into everything. He likes to weave a web of words. That's not the case at all. I just like to distinguish and make distinctions between energies because the way I look at things, it's like if one doesn't know the difference between emotions, if one doesn't know the difference between emotions and feelings, it can really prolong and elongates one's spiritual journey. Why? Because one will keep making a big error of thinking that one is mastering one's emotions, whereas one actually is getting more and more caught up in it. Why? Because there's no distinguishing agency between oneself and the emotions. And also, one leaves oneself so easy, what a prey to manipulation by outside forces because emotions are easily manipulatable. Very easy. Absolutely. One of the easiest things to do is to manipulate the human emotions. Why? Because people don't often know the difference. When they get emotionally triggered, they think, well, I'm following my feeling. No, you're not. You're following your emotions. I'm not against emotions, don't get me wrong. How could I be against something so beautiful, so powerful? All I'm saying is that there comes a point in one's life when one has to begin to learn how to master and at least transcend so that one can see one's emotional body. Otherwise, it's just like leaving something outside and you don't cater to it. Anything can take it over. And that's why some people are possessed, so to speak, because somehow they have ignored seeing their emotions, and other agencies can come in and take it over. And then they do things that later they might regret and say, wow, and why did I do that? I bet how many people are in jail right now that they really don't know the moment when they snapped. And they're like, no, I didn't do it. And people are thinking they're lying. I'll tell you something. They're right. They didn't do it. But how do you say this in the court of law that somebody was possessed these days? They say you're into voodoo, some kind of shit. The truth is the person was absent. The emotional body took over. You see, the emotional body is a repository of lifetimes of passions. All kinds of drama, all kinds of things have come. Everything is stored in the emotional body. And that emotional body is what causes a lot of karmic incidents in life. That person will just walk and they go, hate, whatever kinds of stuff. That's the attraction. The emotional body attracts whatever is holding in this frequency. That's why this topic are really dear to my heart because if somehow somebody makes any little error, even a tiny little bit, one doesn't see to the depths of one emotional body, one can easily become a walking time bomb. Why? Why? Because the emotional body in itself is powerful. It is not as powerful as the astral body, nor as a subtle body, nor the other layers of who we are. But in itself, it is powerful. Emotions, we've seen it. People fighting each other, generations of family not letting go, killing each other, communities. It can be really like a lifetimes of suffering. Why? Because emotions are powerful. And for me, I'm a very practical mystic. And I'm like, something that powerful has to be looked at. Otherwise, what people often call the spiritual bypass, whenever I look into clients or people in general, friends who scan, that's what they're really talking about. People who haven't really witnessed on deep levels their own emotional pain. Why? How can one miss such a thing on the spiritual journey? It is very easy. especially for those who follow the path of meditation. They are often the ones that have that tendency because the meditative practice, it takes you to those higher states. And as one climbs those states, one begins to feel very present, very alive, very awake. And then you are wondering, why deal with the humanity of me? Why worry about my emotion? Again, it makes total sense, right? You're like, why am I worrying with these emotions? I am, whatever you want to call yourself. And that's how people begin to miss, because those states are beautiful, they're juicy. Anybody who's ever had those huge experiences can relate. They're so, sometimes even blissful. You could be really lost into those states. But eventually, no matter how high we climb on our journey, somehow we have to land in the bodies not that later. I know this is this is something that I like to talk about, partly because it's been my experience. You know, it's like all this stuff, but one day universe in their wisdom would drop you in the body. And that's when people are like, wow, what happened? I was having all those deep spiritual states, and now I'm in hell. The pain is so intense. Better thank existence that that happens to you. If that's happened to anybody watching this or will watch this in the future, if you've had those high states, suddenly you feel like you've been dropped into the very depths of hell, be grateful. Be very, say, universe, thank you. Don't even try to understand it. Why am I saying this? Why? Because no matter how one goes high in those, literally high in those states, if it's not embodied, if it hasn't entered the emotional body, if it hasn't entered every cell, the very essence of the physicality that we are is not yet attained. One will have to keep coming back. And they'll be like, but I've already had all these experiences. Why am I still here? Because somehow the emotional body hasn't been mastered. It has to be mastered. And it's one of the most difficult to do. Why? Because before you even know it, the emotions are already there. They're fast. Faster than the goddamn speed of light everybody's talking about. The scientists lying to all of us that the fastest speed is the speed of light. Absolute rubbish. Nonsensical. Any mystic will know this. It's not true. It's total fallacy. Emotions are powerful. They're here. They're there. So how do you watch it? How do you catch it before it overpowers one? That is part of the challenge of anybody on the spiritual path. How do you recognize it first? The irritation, the slightest irritation. That's sudden flicker of energy that you say, goodness sake, this thing is back again. And it's so powerful. How does one see that before it even happens? Well, meditation is very helpful, being present, but it's never enough. Why is it not enough? Because it's looking at the emotion from the other side. It's looking at it from presence only. No. The real way that I share in my sessions with my clients and friends is that you got to go into the emotions, but go fully with your heart fully open. And that's what scares a lot of people. That's why love is so rare these days. Because who wants to go and say, I love you? Whatever I love, whether it's friendship or love affair, may bring up, whatever it is for you. How many people are courageous to say, I would look at myself first before I attack you? I would look within first. Those are the very things that universe sometimes asks all of us when we love. That whatever I see in my partner, whatever I see in the people I hate, how much of it can I really see within myself first? Because to the same degree that one looks into oneself and catches any irritation, any of it, then you can have compassion. Otherwise, we are all guilty of being holier than thou. I would never do that. I would never say that. Then 5 years later, you do exactly and say the same thing. Why? Because we don't take the time to witness and be with our own emotions first. Especially those of us that I'm spiritual. Can I speak the truth? Please. Can I speak truth? It's time somebody spoke to all these things, because it's part of what's holding a lot of us back in our spiritual journey. We are denying the humanity. And that's where the juice really is. Because if one somehow doesn't deal with that emotional body, one can attain really high states. But guess where one finds oneself back? In the physical body again, incarnating. And I'm not against coming to earth. Everyone knows, anybody who knows me knows I love being human. Oh my goodness, the simple pleasures of being human. So I'm not against incarnation. What I share is, why do you choose to be pushed back over and over again? That loss of power, loss of choice to say, I don't want to go to that planet for a while. Oh, never again. Why not? That's your soul's freedom. But to get pushed back, that is humiliating. And one remembers, I have attained this. Why am I getting pushed back? Because the burden, the emotions are saying, but how about me? You haven't shown me love. You say you are love. You say that you are love. You are the very embodiment of love or presence. But have you loved me? All emotions, that's all they're asking. All of them. And that's the difference between feelings and emotions. Our feelings are more like states that are astral experiences, so to speak. The feelings, the intuition, the subtlety of them, those exist in the very depth of who we are. But the emotions are more superficial. But just because they're superficial doesn't mean they need or they can be ignored. It's virtually impossible. They will pull you back in the body, guaranteed. For those people that are saying they don't want to come back, unfortunately, that's a joke, which is not really funny, but it is funny to a lot of things are funny to me. Those who don't mind coming back to Earth are free from the planet Earth. Only those, I say it again, who say, I don't mind going back. Those are the ones that are truly free. But most of us, we don't want to come back because we are in trouble, we suffer. And I'm not making fun of anybody. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm not so cruel to do that. But we just have to once and for all be honest with ourselves and just say, I'm an emotional being. And stop being embarrassed. And just say, I'm spiritual, whatever you are, whatever level of awakening you feel that you are, it's fine. Nobody's here to take anything away from you. But to also say, my goodness, I have these emotions. I feel lonely sometimes. I feel oppressed. I feel whatever your story, your emotional, to just be with it. Why not? It does not diminish the divinity at all. Instead, actually, it enhances who you are. It really pulls whatever level that one feels that one has attained, it pulls us in the body. Now, to be who we are as the eternity of the selfness that we are, and yet be willing to be human and say, sometimes I lie, sometimes I make mistakes. My goodness, how human, how gorgeous, how beautiful, how down to earth. And that's part of how one begins to incarnate all these higher levels. People say, how can I increase my my frequency? And I say, it's so simple. Be human. Because in the very, not efforting, but in the very expression of your humanity, no matter how deep levels one has attained, that actually is the very gymnasium that pulls in the muscle of your presence into your incarnation in this very body. Can I say, okay, let me say that again. That was a little mystical. To the same degree, we're able to feel our humanity and just be human once and for all and say, wow, my goodness, I have anger. Oh, when you say that, that triggers this feeling of abandonment in me. People are like, what? I thought you were awake. I thought you. No. To the same degree, you can be honest. Maybe not to anybody else. Don't worry about anybody because they are ready to judge you anyway. But once in a while, sit in the bosom of your own heart and say, my goodness, I feel abandoned. Nobody else makes me feel abandoned but you. Wherever it is. Just that person, suddenly it comes up. And that's how one begins to incarnate and then master the emotional body. And once it's done in physicality, once one has somehow managed to still be very present, yet be human, when one has learned to fully open one's heart and be very vulnerable, like on the cross as Christ did, just that will be done. Let the emotions come. Let me feel all of my humanity. And that's what begins to incarnate the higher frequencies, the Christ consciousness, all the states that we all read about. It begins to come naturally into he or she who is willing to be humble. That's what I call true humility. I have no interest in being humble to anybody. I don't give a shit. But I'm humble to my own emotions. I'm like, my goodness, Olua, I have this still? I'm still this jealous? Am I still this? My goodness. Wow. But those are the very things that deepen one into the very depths of presence. The humanity. That's why we're here. Otherwise, what's the point? We might as well stay in the spirit world and just be perfect or imperfectly perfect as we are. But that's not enough. So we came to dance here together. And the feelings are the very essence of the astrality that you are. Your astral body, your subtle soul, so to speak, the most superficial aspect of who we are, it has feelings. Oh my goodness. Some of us would be fortunate to feel those feelings. Suddenly you're in love, everything you see. You're just in love. You pick up an handkerchief, a dirty handkerchief. You're like, my goodness, you're the most beautiful handkerchief. We've all had those states, some of us, right? But those are astral feelings, spiritual feelings. And they're beautiful. They are more everlasting. And a lot of us get addicted to them. Unfortunately or fortunately. But they're not meant to be attached. The bliss feelings, all those super intense feelings that we come across on our journey, it is very important not to get too attached to them. Because to get too attached to them, not because those feelings are bad, okay, feelings are beautiful. But if one gets attached to them, they could, in effect, prevent one from seeing the more painful emotions. That's why some teachers say don't get attached to the bliss. Not because they're against bliss. Who's going to be against bliss if you're in your right mind? You can't be against bliss. It's beautiful, it's so joyful, so juicy. But if one begins to say, I only want this, then the shadowy feelings, the heavier feelings might not show up. If somehow one can remain blissful while one can also feel one's emotion, then congratulations to you. That is mastery, because that's actually what begins to happen on deeper levels of awakening. Somehow you're so joyful, even in moments of depression. Those of you that have had this know what I'm talking about. You're so joyful and yet you are so miserable. Miserably joyful. Wow, the humanity of it is so humbling. But so it brings these high states into the body, because now you're human. And that's what creates what people call compassion. What is compassion but a human being who's really present, really awake, so expanded, and yet he or she still feels pain from time to time. And then we don't get on the high horse saying, how could you still be feeling this on your journey? That nonsensical, holier than thou nonsense that my goodness, how can you still be 10 years of meditation? You're still doing this. So what? So fucking goddamn what? At least the person is honest. They're honest. They say, my goodness, I'm still, what a truth, what juicy. My goodness. Wow. And that's part of what people call spiritual bypass. To know that feelings arise, they come and go. The feelings, the astral feelings of bliss and all those ecstatic feelings come and go, shimmering in your astral body up and down, like you're having constant orgasm, right? Those, don't be against them. Please enjoy them. But don't let them, please, I'm begging you. I hope people don't think Oluwa is being so arrogant, but this is truth as I prefer to share from my experience. Don't let them prevent you from what. Just look into your subconscious mind, look into your emotional body and say, is there something? Have I missed something? Because we all sometimes miss something. Yes. And then, wow. Okay, little jealousy just came up for me. Okay. Okay, I see. Something good happened to somebody. I didn't fully cooperate in the joy. I see a little reluctance in there. Okay, I see it. To see that, to humanize oneself, is what I am convinced beloved Christ said, was talking about humility. It's humiliating. But we often wait for life to humiliate us. I don't want life to humiliate me. I want to see it first before it happens to me in life. The humility of saying, my goodness, all this time I still have this. But guess what? That's what speeds up one's journey. I am not making this up. These are from experiences of me and my teachers. I've seen them in their struggles. Even some, I've been very fortunate to have some of the most enlightened masters I boast of. I don't care. But I've seen them in their humanity, their struggles. And I'm like, wow. What a beautiful master. What a beautiful being. This duality of it, the humanity. And those are what I feel like we're all being pulled to become and to be expressions of more and more on this planet. So that we can all be more honest with each other. More honest. And say, guess what? By the way, do you know yesterday I felt jealous when that happened? For the first time, your friend will also say, guess what? That happens to me too. And now suddenly we share a common humanity. Wow. Wow. And the silence descends. A couple, two beloveds, student and teacher. Suddenly there's moments of silence. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We meet each other in our humanity. Maybe a tear or two might fall from our eyes. And we say, wow, here we are in this expanded heart space. We are both here now. And yet we are human. My goodness. What joy. What beauty. Huh? So, the difference in the emotions and the feelings I feel need to be addressed often more than it has been addressed. That's part of why I wanted to make this series of videos and I'm going to post on YouTube. You can look for them under my name. Just listen to them. These are words from my heart and soul. They're my songs. And please listen to them with your heart open. Anybody that's watching this or watch this in the future, listen to them with open heart, open mind. Don't say otherwise right or wrong. See whether your soul, your heart is incongruous with what I'm saying. And if it is, why cheat yourself? Just partake in this beautiful exploration that we are all being pulled by Mother Universe to herself, because she's the ultimate desire of all of us, the, the galaxy itself. So why can't we assist each other? So be open to what I'm saying or not. Right? So the emotional body, it is very different, okay? Whatever comes and goes, happiness, sadness, misery, pain, all kinds of things that we watch in the news. A mother who just lost a child, a lover who just got left on the altar, all like human drama. That's why I will never belittle the humanity. Our emotional, so to speak, drama, all those things are juicy. So whatever it may be for you this moment, don't resist it, my friend. Please, let it shake you. Whether you're watching right now, you're going to watch in the future. Let your emotional body be your companion and friend on your journey towards awakening. I tell you, my friend, it will speed up your journey. It will not impede it. One of the biggest lies ever told to humans is that emotional experiences are the obstacle. Whoever said that is just basic jealous. Because the more emotional you are, the faster your journey can be. I must say it again. The more emotional you are, the stronger, the more hectic, the thicker, the drama, whatever it is, pain, whatever, good or bad, it doesn't matter. As long as you have emotional strength, okay? I don't make a difference in it, whatever it is, the more intense it is, the more potential one has for awakening or to lighten up. Because those emotions, they are like nuclear. Think of a nuclear explosion. You've read about nuclear explosions. You know how catastrophic? People say it's going to blow up the earth if it explodes. Well, that's the outer form of your emotional body. I'm going to say that again. I'm not on drugs. I know what I'm talking about. Your emotional potentiality is almost like a nuclear explosion. It has that capability within you. So if one can somehow become friends with the emotional body, those explosions when the emotional body explodes within and we feel the pain or the angst and we allow it, those can propel our souls to new levels of clarity, new levels of gratitude, new levels of peace. Those are part of what's happening right now on planet Earth. Part of why I'm making this video. because a lot of us are caught up in the emotional body right now. Part of the inspiration for this series. And I'm going to get off very soon because I have another one to make right now. But this series, a lot of us are getting caught up in the emotional body because those that want to manipulate us are manipulating our emotions. And that's part of why I wanted to make these videos. Because to the same degree one is aware of one's emotional body, it becomes harder to manipulate one. Nobody can make you go to war for them because you will say, no, you can't make me angry to fight for you. This is not my fight. Because you know, otherwise ain't any idiot, power hungry fool will just come and hijack the emotional body and drag us to battles that was never our fight, will never be our fight. It is their fight. Or it doesn't belong to you. Or it's a trap. You can see it. Say, wow, these are my answers to pain. How can we master this pain? How can we be aware of this pain collectively before some fool, some power hungry idiot begins to try to overtake and use us for war? That's part of what I see happening right now. I'm not going to go too specific, but that's part of what I see. We're getting hijacked. Not me, because I don't, I mean, call it arrogance. I don't care. Not me. I'm not going to let you use me like a bullet. I mean, you could shoot a bullet and kill somebody or people, but the bullet doesn't survive it. And when people are not aware of their own pain, they haven't somehow been told that the way out is not the church, just to dance like a buffoon. Yeah, I'm speaking there. Yes, I don't care anymore. We have to face our pain. Just saying Jesus, 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 that shit ain't gonna work anymore. It's not enough. We gotta face our pain. And I've been told by my dad, he said, don't talk like this. People won't like you. I don't care. Somebody has to speak like this. It's time. All that shaking me. What has that done for us for 300 fucking years, 400 years? I'm not against it. Go do it. But we have to face our pain. We have to somehow meditate and heal. And I am for reparations. I come out and say I'm for reparations over and over again. I'm not afraid of it to say it. Reparations, yeah, for all the shit that's been done to African Americans. But it's time for us to also face it so that we don't get hijacked anymore by some party pretending to be our friends, lead us to war and explode us into battle, and kill us all, or most of us. Not me. No way. I don't think so. So that said, that's probably a different video. I want to keep this simple and short, sweet and short. Okay, mostly for at most 45 minutes. So for those that are struggling with their emotions, please do not despair. Don't say to yourself, oh my goodness, my emotions are my enemies. How come I'm always so emotional? How come I've been meditating? How come I've been all this? How come? My friend, don't believe what I'm saying. Try some of what I share with you. Just try it. Make friends with your emotional body. It will become your friend. And to make one's emotional body one's friend is one of the most intelligent things to do on the spiritual journey. Why? Because you're going to have it anyway. As long as we're human, the emotional body keeps us here. It is what keeps us in the physicality of things. You're going to have it here. And I'm saying if one is truly intelligent, whatever you're going to have anyway, you can't escape it. You might as well find a way to make it your friend. That's what I call simple intelligence of a child. If it's going to be around, I might as well make it to my toy. At least put it with me. Because then it can become a model car on air jet. I can fly. You're going to have it anyway. So to me, that's why I teach all kinds of shit, stuff, yoga, everything. But everybody that knows me, I have more empathy for Tantra. Because some of what I'm talking about, these are tantric practices. These are the ways of Tantra. A yogi would never speak the way I'm speaking right now. Never. Never. I'm talking about extreme yogi. I don't mean like if you're teaching hatha yoga, you're doing anything wrong. I'm talking about classic yogi. They would never say that. They would say, find a way to not be angry again. And to me, that's, wow, what a pity. Why? Don't find a way not to be miserable again. Why? To me, I'm like, no. Because In my heart of hearts, I'm more of a tantrist. Because to me, it's like, if you're going to have this thing, why don't you find a way to make it your friend? This misery that's been there for years. Find a way. But one of the ways to do it is to distinguish between your emotions and your feelings. Your feelings. Feelings are what everybody's looking for in the spiritual journey. Don't let anybody deceive you. Anybody that's what is in the future, people are, I just meditate to be present. Nah, I never believe that. For me, I never believe it. Who doesn't want joy? Who doesn't want bliss? Who doesn't want all those things? I've never met anybody that is against it. They may talk against it, but they're enjoying it. Who doesn't enjoy that? Even masochists, they might be torturing their body, but it's because somehow they're deriving joy in that torture. That's what we hear. It's the joy, the bliss, the love. That's why we're here. To embody it, though, not just to be lost in it, to embody it. Who doesn't want that? The downside, that's why I speak against it. And some other mystics say that too, because it can blind one. The one is addicted, then when pain is around, you're like, no, I don't want to feel that. Don't come again. You thought it's gone, or the misery, or the jealousy, whatever it is, whatever the draw. Everybody has their own draw, energetic draw. What tries to unhook you out of presence? Everybody has it there, and the ego is the one that is in charge of this. So it knows us on different levels than sometimes we know who we are. So the ego knows how to hook us into the emotional body. It's so tricky that if one is not careful, one can always get hooked into it. At a point, it becomes more difficult and pretty much impossible to get hooked into it. That's what people call the mastering levels. But initially, people have these high states, and suddenly you're getting hooked into the emotional body. It's tricky. It knows how to get us, because the one behind it, the engineer or whatever behind it, is the ego, and the ego has been around since we were 2 years old. 2 or 20 years old. So it knows us. It knows how to hook that little trigger. But that doesn't mean then we deny or we don't want to feel that. That's not the way. The way is to say, okay, this is there for me. This is my story. We all have it. Some people it's anger. Some people it's jealousy. Some people it's greed. Some people it's addiction to power. Whatever it is you're struggling with emotionally, just accept it as your karma. Say, this is what I was born. This is the emotion, the strongest thing in me. Sometimes it could be a lustful feeling. Whatever it is, just embrace it. This is it. What else is it? That's intelligence. To just see, what is it for you? What is that emotional stuff? What is it? What is that? We all have it. What is that hook? Just recognize it once and for all. Because to recognize it is to start mastering it. Because now you see, okay, this is what I always deal with. Like for me, just to make it more personal, part of my stuff was anger. I was a very angry child. Very angry. Just angry. Pissed. There's a reason for it. I'm not going to expose what happened in my family home, but we all know what makes a little boy get angry. Oftentimes somebody is beating that boy. But that's a different story. I'm angry. My mom used to be like, my goodness, what's going on? This anger, like something just go crazy, like just pissed, rage. My mom like, what's going on? You're not like this. So for me, I had to accept that as my karma from a young age, because I'm like, my goodness, how do I master this anger? I don't kill somebody. I don't become a... So it became a big part of my challenge on my journey. And luckily, I'm very fortunate to have studied with some of the greatest masters, Leonard Jacobson, Osho, Ozen, 3 or 4 that I call. Woof! That anger stuff, just the anger meditation of Osho. Now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Osho technique meditation. Part of what I love Osho so much. I always talk about Osho, because part of it, how I was able to master whatever this energy, the mastering of it, the anger, and the techniques. Leonard Jacobs, my goodness, master, just great beings, my goodness. I wish everybody would know them. Unfortunately, people don't know some of these masters, like Leonard Jacobson, one of the greatest. Leonard Jacobson, more people, millions should know him, because what he teaches is diamond. Ozen too. Ozen, my goodness, in Mexico, these are the great beings. But some people don't know that. I wish millions would not, because these are the ancient things that they shared with me and us. Those of us who are fortunate to have taken retreats or whatever. The anger thing, the anger meditation. Suddenly the anger becomes compassion. It's crazy. It sounds like some kind of, I'm making this shit up. But the anger, suddenly the anger starts becoming compassion. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ah, this is what they're talking about? How can this this anger and I want to kill somebody? Suddenly it's like, I love you all. Is how to transmute it. And the more one can transmute it and yet incarnate this presence, then any moment that death comes, could be tomorrow, could be any moment, you won't be like, oh goodness, why now? You just be like, universe, it is done. Thank you. I came and I did what you told me to do. I came to be present, to be here, and yet be human. It's done. And the universe said, thank you. Yes, I agree with you. Come home. And it's over. We don't have to heal everything that suddenly you're walking on water. No, there's no need. As long as we've shown universe, we've been present, somehow we've managed to open our heart, keep our heart open to our pain. To me, that's what the cross represents. When I look at Christ on the cross, I don't see man suffering. It's a man who somehow managed to keep his heart open in the worst moment of his life. What can be worse than being nailed to a goddamn cross? Being pulling, and I'm not a Christian per se, but I can see the mystery of it, the beauty of that experience of Christ on the cross. It's like he's being murdered, literally it's murder, and somehow his heart remained open. People talk about the miracles he performed. I don't believe any of those miracles. I think those are just allegories. But to me, that's the miracle. To keep one's heart open to one's murderers. My goodness, what a master being. I may not be a Jehovah's Witness or one of those Christians, but I love Christ because he did something that's almost impossible. To keep one's heart open, people that are murdering you, ha, ha. Yes, right. Yeah, right. It's easy to be all golden and beautiful about love, but to be somebody killing you and you're like, okay, I love you anyway. No, that's what I consider his core teaching, at least one of his core teachings. I mean, we don't have to be on the cross. Hopefully, none of us have that karma. Thank goodness. I'm not saying we should go on the cross. I'm just saying that whatever feeling, whatever emotion that's coming up for you as you watch or later who's going to watch or not, whatever emotion, let that be your call to the cross for you. Just say, this is my cross. That moment, just keep your heart open. Breathe into it. Keep your heart open. And that is the sacrifice that people talk about. It's not like you sacrifice a human being or a goat or a ram or something. That is the sacrifice the universe is asking for all of us. Can you dare feel this with me? Universe is feeling everything. God, whatever they call it, it's already feeling everything because it's all of it. You can't escape it. But we try to escape it. The universe is saying, can you be present with this pain? Can you feel it with me? Because when we feel it together, then we become one. That's what the universe is asking us. Let's become one. But we're like, no, universe, I don't want to feel that. I don't have that. I'm a mystic. I'm a this and that. I don't have that. The universe is saying, come on. When are you going to do this with me? And we're like, maybe tomorrow. Because it's a nightmare. I did a course recently and I was talking about the last terror. People are like, what do you mean? And what I meant by that is, I said, just face your pain. Make it one night of terror. It doesn't mean open yourself to attack. I'm not saying that. No. Protect yourself energetically. Take care of yourself. Okay? What I'm just saying is, can one, just once and for all, just say, I want to feel my pain today. I just want to feel, what is this thing? It takes courage. I like to joke that any idiot, any stubborn fool can climb the Himalayas. That's not to like put it down. It's a great experience. I'm sure they get a lot from it. But to feel one's shit, my goodness, it takes courage. And that's why most of us humans avoid it. I always say to my friends, I'm like, I don't blame people. My goodness. Sometimes in sessions when I'm in session with people and look into the pain they carry, who wants to deal with that shit? No, I would never say somebody has to do that. No, it's crazy. If you, I get it. I do. All I'm saying though is, How long are we going to keep avoiding it? How long? How many lives? How many lives? Can we just have that one massive day of terror? Just deal with it, feel it, and let that pain, that depression, that anger, whatever it is for you, that lustful feeling, whatever it is for you, can you allow it to catapult you into new levels of awakening? Let it fling the doors of your heart open once and for all. Because to the same degree that one's heart is open, there's a point when it cannot close again. And one of the ways, like I talked about the explosion earlier, the nuclear explosion, let that emotion, let it blast the door once and for all. Let yourself feel it. Let it blast the door once and for all, so your heart can never close again, no matter what. Because until one's heart can really be open, no matter what, can one say, I am now here. I am here now. If you even want to be a little silly, you can say you're awake. But for me, there's no point to say all that stuff. You can just say, I'm here now. I'm here with you. That's simple. That's beautiful, you know. When you start calling yourself awake, you start making some enemies, unnecessary enemies, and they're going to start watching your shadows, following you around with invisible video camera so that they can say, yeah, I thought you were awake. See, motherfucker, you're a liar. So don't put yourself through all that trouble. Just say, you know, somehow I'm here now. Whatever happens in life, somehow, you know, just say it like it's just, you know, like you just, yeah. Otherwise, if you start claiming stuff, see how they attack Osho, see how they attack people that come out. Because these people are vicious. You know, you can't even have Rolls Royce anymore because you're awake. My goodness, what kind of awakening is that? You can't even have a beautiful car anymore. So if you can't even enjoy it, but my goodness, the Americans, what they did to Osho. Good, I will keep speaking against it. I don't care how many enemies I make. I will keep speaking against it. It's crazy. So what if you had Rolls Royce? So what? So goddamn what? It was the 80s. It was the 80s, the age of materialism. Yeah, of course, he had fun. So I don't want to hear anybody telling me Osho wasn't perfect. So what? Are you perfect? Are you? Relax. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I've heard all of it. I don't care. He dared to be real. Dare to be real. Say, okay, we have money to buy Rolls Royce. Let's enjoy some Rolls Royce. Why not? And the same people that are speaking against Osho are the same one that be giving their pastors all this money. Whatever. I'm like, come on, where's the hypocrisy here? You're donating money to the Vatican. You're a Christian, eh? You see how much gold? I went to the Vatican, I saw so much gold over there. Everything lined in gold. Somebody's telling me Osho had a bunch of Rolls Royces. So, yeah, so what? Yes, he had it and enjoyed it. I love him. Thank you, Bhagawan, for your blessings. Thank you. Love you. Okay, so emotions. Emotions. Yes, emotions. Huh? My goodness. Like I've been saying, and I gotta stop this soon because I gotta go on another channel to talk now. Okay, I feel like maybe that's actually good enough, more than enough. This is the first part. I'm gonna continue right now on Instagram Live for like 10-15 minutes. I'm not too interested in Instagram too much for now. It's just too many pictures. I'm not a picture person, taking pictures all day long. It's just, if I take one, I have to be reminded. So anyway, but I'm doing it because there are people there that watch it on Instagram. So I'll do that. But most of these videos are going to be on YouTube anyway. Just look for Oluwa Adams-Oyenuga. It's going to be hundreds of videos very soon. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to subscribe to Oluwa Adams-Oyenuga. And text me. Those of you who have my number, 510-240-2322. Whatever topic you like. I don't give a shit. I'll talk about anything. Politics, economics, I don't care. I'll talk about it. Because why are we denying all aspects of life? So anything, just ask me. I'm not afraid to get in trouble. Because there are topics that some teachers don't want to talk about because they're so dangerous and they're afraid to lose students. I don't care. Let's talk about it. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll talk about it. Because that kind of topic is part of what I want to do on anything. As to past life, human history, whatever, Akashic records, whatever topic you are interested in, let me know. Message me. I'll talk about it. Or if you don't have my phone number, you don't want to text me, that's fine. But that's a little personal. Reach out to me on Facebook, Adams-Oyenuga, or oluwaadams9@gmail.com. You can reach out to me. Give me possible questions that you or your friends are interested in. If you have a podcast, invite me. I'll come over. I'll talk about it. Let's talk about all kinds of juicy topics. Really, there's so much to talk about. So much. So much. So please indulge me, indulge yourself. Let's enjoy this journey together. And if you have questions, you want healing session, of course, 510-240-2322. Love you guys so much. Love you, love you all. Again, I'm going to speak more on the emotions, 2 or 3 series at least I like to do. If you have questions, again, reach out to me. I'll speak on it. Because questions help me to narrow it down. Otherwise, there's so much, like an ocean I can talk about that could last for hours on this topic. Because emotions for me are where it's at right now on the planet. Think of a party, any party, right? Like emotions, really. Because to the same degree, we can really be with our feeling. Our feelings are always there. You know, that's the astral body. Let them, let them, they're always there. You may not feel them, they're always there. So don't worry about that. Feelings are your astral body experiences. Those are always there. But they kind of move and vary in the astral level too, to be honest with you. But I don't really want to talk too much. Maybe next video I'll talk about it. You can ask me if you're interested in this, how the feelings go up and down in the astral body. They're just different aspects of your spirit interacting with other spirits on the astral dimension. It is the emotional body that is most problematic for most souls because it's so heavy, it's thick, layers. Conscious, subconscious, it's just on and on, up to the very almost infinity of the very existence of humanity. So much stuff, so much pain. Some of us have been beheaded, choked, tongue pulled out, raped, all kinds of shit. It's just full of stuff in the emotional body. So how does one begin to heal that? So that's part of what I'm going to talk about. And if you want a personal session, again, text me, reach out to me, 510-240-2322. I love you guys. Love you. Mwah. Okay, see you later. Blessings. Bye. Don't forget to take a deep breath now. One more time. Hold it. Okay. Peace out.